SATURN Lizards.
This is from SATURN Lizards. Remember SATURN Lizards who did the crazy ass video?
Hello, I'm Mr. Banjo, and today I'm going to continue my story that I started the other day. This time I'm going to tell the 2x4 story, as SATURN Lizards would like to hear. Went from Salt Lake City, took the Greyhound to Denver, Colorado back in 2005. When I got to Denver, I first started sleeping in motels while I had money in my bank. But whenever my money ran out, I started sleeping in the park and then in parking garages. Eventually, I made friends with these two guys, and one of them had an acoustic guitar, and I had an acoustic guitar, so we would play together and make money that way. He mostly did cover songs. I mostly did originals. But as you'll learn busking on any streets of any city, that most people want to hear the cover songs. Nobody's interested in your sob story original music. So they got me set up in, those two guys got me set up in a squat, an abandoned house that they were living in outside of downtown. And I was just hanging for them for a few weeks. And one day the two of them got into a fist fight with one another where they were duking it out in a park. I don't know why they decided to fight each other, but they did. And eventually they cooled off and separated and went their separate ways for that day. The guy I was closer with, he and I ended up going to this house with social services, I guess. They had a charity there that was giving acupuncture, and so we each got acupuncture in our ears, which is the first time I'd ever done anything like that. But one thing the acupuncture did was it made me sleep really hard later that night. Well, when later that night came around, like I said, I was sleeping very hard. I was awakened by the sound of people coming in the house. I was in the side room in a sleeping bag, and my friend was in the living room in a separate sleeping bag. And whenever people came in the house, I was able to see through the light coming through the street lamp, kind of shined in the front door, and I could see that it was the other guy that was with us, the guy that he was fighting earlier that day. And then there was some woman that came in as well. Well, like I said, I was just woken up. I was kind of groggy, and I looked over and I actually saw the guy that came in had a 2x4 long board, and he whacked the guy upside the head that I was with that was sleeping on the floor. And so I immediately jumped up, and I wasn't trying to be a hero or anything. I just wanted to stop what was happening. I grabbed a 2x4 on the other end, and we kind of did the tug of war for a second. And I was able to pull the 2x4 away from him and threw it on the floor behind me. And he immediately picked up a broom. Now it's going from dangerous to ridiculous. He picked up a broom and started swinging it. And so I grabbed the broom and yanked it out of his hands. And then he picked up some piece of door trim, wood door trim, started swinging that at us. And so I grabbed that out of his hands, and then the guy I was hanging out with the most, the one that had the head wound now and blood rushing down his head, jumped up and he pushed the guy and shoved him out the front door, and the guy ran off down the sidewalk. So I grabbed the t-shirt out of my bag, and I was able to wrap my friend's head with the t-shirt so the bleeding would stop. We went outside and waved down a car and asked them if they could please call 911, that my friend had been assaulted. So the police came, and within just a few minutes, 2 squad cars. The first squad car picked up my friend and drove him to Denver General Hospital. Then the second squad car stayed behind and took down my written statement of the happenings of what occurred that night. And so once I did that, he let me go, and I walked to the hospital and picked up my friend, who by the time I got there, he was already finished up. He got 8 staples in the side of his head, and then we left the hospital. So that's my 2x4 story, and thank you for listening, and have a good night.